Okay, this is going to be a test. We're going to take the Clorox and TSP solution and pit it against the cedar wash. Okay, on this side of the board, on the right side of the board, is the cedar wash. I applied a full flood coat to about 4 boards wide, and I'm going to let that sit now and go mix the other chemical, the TSP. Okay, what I did now was I applied the TSP to the left side of the strip, 4 boards wide, and it isn't foaming up at all. I took 2 quarts of warm water, a cup of TSP, and about a cup and a half of bleach, and I just put a flood coat on it, and I'll let it sit in there. And as you can see, the cedar wash on the other side is still foaming up. This is the pressure washer I'm using. It's a little Honda 5.5 horse. It's not very strong. I've got it throttled down very low, so it's not putting out a lot of pressure. That's the pressure I'm putting out. You can see it's not very heavy. This is another added step of safety. It's the corkers for walking on cedar roofs. Gives you good footing. You still need fall gear when you're high up, but you want to have good footing, and this is the tool that'll give it to you. Okay, I'm ready to pressure wash now, and you can see the cedar wash is now, there's no suds on top, and the TSP solution never did suds up. Very low pressure. I'm doing this with one hand, and as old as these shakes are, I don't want to make it worse by ripping apart the shake. So this has all been about a low pressure cleaning method, and it couldn't have been on a better test where we have such fragile shakes. So far the cedar wash is doing really well. It's cleaning up nice and pretty, and may not even need to use a brightener after it all dries down. I'll take a look at it. Well, this is a finished product. On the top is the cedar wash that I used, and then on the bottom of the screen is the TSP solution. And after a real light pressure washing, as you can see, the edges were not hurt. They are soft, but I didn't do any more damage to the edges, which I was cautious about, but absolutely identical. They didn't clean any different. There was just no difference. Now this is a shocking thing to me. This is no chemicals. I just skipped over and did a couple shakes. Starting from the top, they look brand new with 500 pounds of wash, and they're no different than the chemicals I was using. And you can see, if you really look at it, that's some pretty nasty looking shakes to be pressure washed at such a low pressure with no chemicals. Now this was an experiment using no pressure at all, just hose pressure. This was a cedar wash I sprayed on, and then I just hosed it off. This was the TSP solution that I used, and it's about the same, maybe a little worse. And then this was the crud cutter, and it really didn't do very well at all. Now this is the crud cutter on some shakes that were very, pretty much protected and didn't get weathered. They look pretty good. This is the cedar wash, and this is the TSP solution. So they're all pretty much the same, no matter what I did. And they were in pretty good shape to start with. They weren't really soiled. They were in a protective area. This was one of the other tests that I used. I used one of the deck strippers, brighteners, and I actually did brush some of that in with a 1-to-1 ratio, which was very heavy. Nothing really any good. As you can see, the shake edges are really compromised, and I was only using the hose pressure. But then what I did do on top of that, I brought the daily wood brightener over here and just put a coat on and rinsed it off. and it came out pretty well. I think really if you look at this, this is probably the worst case scenario you can have for cedar shakes to start cleaning with at low pressure. And I think what I produced turned out pretty well, and strikingly it's no change from anything. The only upside when you're using chemicals is you're probably killing all the mold and mildew before you start to clean it. Hi, I'm David with Integrity Finishing. Well, you saw it for yourself. Chemicals are chemicals. I tried quite a few other chemicals prior to the cedar wash and the TSP solution. It's just that those two are the ones that perform the best. I do recommend one thing. Chemically treat everything you do prior to pressure washing. And the low pressure works really well, and it'll keep your composition roofs and your cedar shakes from being damaged. Well, happy cleaning and good luck. Thanks again for watching our video.